Welcome back to Safe Space. Our previous questions for this episode can be found here.
Maybe it was like some 10-20 years ago, but today I don't hear this sense of discomfort, and as a priest I don't hear this much. I think people are also acknowledging one another's presence, and we want to have fellowship, but perhaps people are still confused with certain jargons with the hear of. It sounds very Protestant. It was mentioned a Protestant. And protest.
Are they always protesting?
Yeah. So when you don't have the knowledge or the understanding of the history or any of this background, then they kind of sense wanting to know more about it. But people believe in fellowship and in communion, and I guess all this happens in the church during our services and during sermons, and some of the action of the whoever the minister coming down, meeting and encouraging and things like that, or even when we start reading, looking at the Pope himself during this moment, and these are some inspirations that people are opening. So I said, fine. So we don't seem to see these examples those days, but today, in the last 10 years, some of the actions and teachings of the church that comes from the Pope himself, Supreme Pontiff and the teacher of the church, I think the priests, the people are truly encouraged and moved and inspired to say yes to communion.
I think maybe it's not so much of resistance. I don't think I have seen or experienced anyone protesting against us having this event, for example. Maybe for some Christians, Protestants, they might be a bit cold towards this. They might still see, I'm not one of them, and I know a lot of our colleagues in STM and like he said, many others currently are maybe different from the last 10-20 years where there's potentially more resistance. But today, generally everyone is open to join events like this. But maybe there is also a sense of coldness because for some Protestants, they see the Reformation only within the lens of a Lutheran lens or a Calvinist Reform lens, or only one aspect of it. But the program that we are doing, we are trying to have a fresh contribution that no, it is not just about Protestants, but together we have Catholics celebrating this event. We don't deny the sadness, as we shared in the early part. There are real difficulties, but we can move beyond that. And I think the gesture of the Archbishop Julian and the openness of Father George and others in the way he shared it just now is a great encouragement for us. And perhaps it's also a challenge for Protestants because sometimes we may be the ones who are not extending a hand of hospitality because we might be very much preoccupied with doctrinal differences, for example. But there is a place for those discussions, and we will have that to some extent in the seminars. But there must be a starting point somewhere. And I think the commitment towards prayer is what we are for. Conversations, hospitality, and one of the topics for us is towards a shared Christian witness in Malaysia. Because I think on one hand, as Malaysians, we are open for fellowship, but we also recognize there are forces trying to break down this fellowship.
Got questions? Connect with us. Send us a tweet or an email. We would love to hear from you.